And this is a remand copy that we have accessed. This is about the various accused who are being presented before the court here in the national capital at the Patiala House Court, the specially designated NIA court. In this remand copy, there are details about why they've been sent to custody, the number of days they've been sent to custody for. Ananya Bhatnagar, our legal correspondent, is getting us more details on this entire story. Ananya, over to you. Tell us, what does this remand copy really tell us? Because the proceedings in this matter are in camera, so there is very little information which is trickling out.
Well, this is with regards to one of the accused who was produced yesterday, and we have to remember that there are various accused who have been brought from other states, and this is a remand copy which in fact one of the accused was produced before the Ernakulam court, and a transit remand was sought, and later he was brought into Delhi and then produced before Mr. Shailendra Malik. So it basically goes on to say a lot of things with regards to the terror probe that has been going on in Kerala. There were targeted killings that could have happened there, as you were pointing it out earlier as well. And the bigger, larger conspiracy, in fact, to wage a war against the country is what is the major charge that has been leveled against all of these people. Money trails are being accessed and are also being traced down by, in fact, the terror probe agencies. And what is very, very crucial at this moment of time is that today, 3 people were also arrested by, in fact, the 3 people were produced by the Enforcement Directorate. One was the Delhi PFI president, another was the office secretary, another one was the general secretary of the PFI in the Delhi. With regards to the PMLA probe, that is the money laundering probe, the terror funding probe, in fact, if we call it in general terms, that is going on to see where this money was used, whether it was used for radicalizing the youth, whether it was for creating launchpads for terror suspects, or whether it was done to bring in people from across the border. That is a matter of time, and we'll get to know as to when the charge sheets in these matters are filed and how the test of trial goes on before the court of law.
But Ananya, for the benefit of our viewers, why don't you break it down for our viewers? It's a countrywide crackdown, as you said. Over 100 people who have been arrested in different parts of the country, eventually all of them will have to be brought to the national capital after their transit remands are sought. Is it a single FIR that is being pursued, or different cases are going to have different FIRs? What is exactly the structure that NIA is following in this investigation?
Well, NIA is basically following different structures into this particular case. Basically, one larger conspiracy case has been registered in national capital, and all of these 106 people who've been arrested with PFI links would be interrogated in the national capital itself. Along with that, various cases have been registered in Kerala, in other states as well, with regards to the particular offence that have been committed into that particular state and how it connects to all of the PFI links, and how PFI was actually managing terror suspects, how it was trying to create and radicalize youth, is what the larger conspiracy is, what the Delhi NIA team, the larger NIA team, would be investigating. Though it's a joint operation that has been carried out not only by the National Investigation Agency but also by the Enforcement Directorate, the State Police, and also in fact the CRPF, who was used for in fact assisting the NIA and the ED when they had gone to raid in various states, including the non-BJP states as well. So a very, very big probe coming in, and NIA is, you can see, is very, very active. Not only this probe, but is also investigating the gangsters in another probe, and it's
multiple cases that the agency is pursuing right now, and of course they directly pertain to the national security of this country. Neetu Regukumar is also with us on the broadcast, but before I go to my reporters, I want to point out to the financial trail that exists. For any terror case to be proved, you have to establish that money was coming from illegal sources, terror sources. What are the sources of fund? Indian Fraternity Forum. These are, of course, remittances that they were receiving in small amounts. The fear is that this was done purposely to ensure that there is no big tranche of money that can be caught. Muslim Relief Network. These are also sources of funds for the PFI. Islamic Development Bank, the PFI was getting money from these are top intel sources, what they're telling us. PFI also runs manpower supply companies in UAE and Saudi Arabia. About 30,000 cadre from UP, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, they work in these firms, and through these firms the money is really coming in. PFI deducts about 100 dirhams from the salaries of the cadre working in UAE, so there's a structure how they actually get money. PFI also generates almost 3 million dirhams every month as a result of reduction. Now, what one needs to understand here, there's a caution that this is all the sources of money which are coming in. you have to establish illegality here, that what PFI did is illegal. If you're getting money from these sources, you were not supposed to get money from these sources. And some of these networks, if the agencies think are banned networks, that's how you'll be able to establish a terror link. Let me cut across to my colleagues who continue to track the story and get more details. Purnima Murli is joining us on the broadcast. Neetu Regukumar is also with us. Purnima, first to you. Help us understand the sort of protest that we have seen on the ground, and more importantly, the financial trail that will have to be established for the terror nexus to be proven. It's going to be very critical, very important in this investigation.
Well, we can see various Muslim organizations staging protests today. Yesterday, after the raids began across the nation, we've seen members of PFI in small groups protest across Chennai, some of them in fact staging road roko, and today protests are only intensifying. Various Muslim groups have now come together to stage protest against the raids that were conducted. In Tamil Nadu per se, there were at least 11 locations across 4 districts that were raided. The Chennai headquarters were also raided. Some of the important documents were seized as per sources from the NIA. And 11 people have been arrested, including 2 senior members of the PFI, which is why you can see protests here intensifying. Members say that there has been no evidence of any fraudulent activities that the PFI has involved in, and they call these raids politically motivated. That's the stance that they maintain, but we'll have to wait for official reaction that come in from the national capital. But at the moment, protests here in Chennai continue for the 2nd straight day.
Purnima, before I go to Neetu, the protests so far in Chennai are peaceful? The law and order is under control? Because in Kerala, it clearly went out of hand.
Well, yesterday and today so far, protests have been peaceful. Yesterday, when there were at least 4 or 5 different protests that were staged by the PFI, 2 groups tried to block the roads and they were immediately detained, and the situation in those 2 instances were brought under control. Here at the moment, protests peaceful. Heavy police deployment everywhere. You can see barricades to ensure that they don't block roads. At the moment, things are under control. Heavy police deployment and barricades everywhere to ensure that no untoward incident takes place. So far peaceful here in Chennai.
So far peaceful in Chennai, and thank God for that. Neetu, I'm coming to you. In the state of Kerala, we saw multiple instances that really panned out. It wasn't a peaceful demonstration or a hartal that was conducted by the PFI. Tell us about what we saw in the state through the day, what is expected in the next few hours. I mean, we hope that the authorities are able to control the situation.
We can say that the situation is under control at the moment in the state. Early morning, that is from 6 to about 10 o'clock, we saw mainly that's when we saw most of these incidents of stone pelting, of violence. Mostly these stones were pelted on state-run KSRTC buses, some on the lorries and some even on private vehicles. Many private vehicles were also damaged. But strict action has been taken by the police against these protesters, those who tried to stop the people from going on with their normal life, forcefully shutting down shops, and in shops which are open, people coming in bikes and hurling stones. These were the scenes that we have witnessed, and this was not a situation in just one part of Kerala, but across the state we saw this. We had ADGP Vijay Sakre telling us that at least 400 people have been taken into preventive custody till afternoon from yesterday, and more than 500 people have been arrested on various instances of violence, because when they tried to pelt stones or stop the movement of people or hamper with their regular life, the police have taken action on them. Now, the High Court has also come down heavily on this. See, in the state of Kerala, you cannot actually call for a bandh. Bandh is banned, and if you have to call for a hartal, you have to give ample time. You cannot just suddenly call a hartal and say that tomorrow there's a hartal, we are calling, an organization is calling. You have to give ample time for the people. So that is something which the PFI did not do, and the High Court has come down heavily on them. They have taken suo motu cognizance of this, asked the police to ensure law and order, and have also made 2 of their leaders, of the PFI leaders, respondents in this particular case.
Okay.
So they call this protest as